Hey, my name is Mark, and I wanted to go through and make a quick tutorial showing off my export settings and why I use them. So first things first, I have 4 exports, and they're all the exact same clip at 1 second long. And when you look at the file size, you can tell there's a huge gap between the file sizes we're going to be dealing with. So QuickTime Animation are massive files. This is 1 second. It's 150 megabytes. At the bottom, we have H.264, and I set it to 25 megabits per second, which puts it around 3 megabytes. And then in between, we have the DNets HD settings. So I do not recommend the 38. I'll just get that out of the way real quick. I actually find H.264 at 25 megabits per second to actually be a higher quality than 38 megabits per second and the DNets HD codec. Now the 175 megabits per second at 8 bits per channel, which is this file here, I find to be phenomenal. Like it is for cross-platform and for dealing with animation, it is great. It's very hard. Honestly, I can't even tell the difference between QuickTime Animation and DNets HD 175 megabits per second. So I recommend using this setting, and I'll show you how to set it up real quick. So we want to go into our project, or actually it doesn't lock down to just one project. It changes all of After Effects. So go to Edit, then your Templates, and you want to go to your Output module. And then here, I'll just go ahead and remove the one I already have. So I'll set this to H.264. I'll delete the one I have, and let's make one from scratch. So we go to New, it'll pop up. You want to go ahead and change the format to QuickTime. And then under Format Options, you want to change that to DNets HD, and then Codec Settings, you want to set it to what you set your project to. So for me, I set to 1080p at 23.976 frames per second. And so multiple options. I don't ever recommend exporting anything at interlace, but that's what the I stands for. P is progressive, if you weren't aware. So there's some 720p settings, but I typically stick with the frame rate I use the most and the resolution I use the most. So those are those settings. And then under audio, make sure you have a codec set. Don't set to uncompressed. And then make sure you have the audio output checked. Once you press OK, you can go ahead and name it. All right, so I set that to DNets HD 175 megabits per second. And then I'm going to set my default to that and then press OK. So now if I was to go to this project over here and I tell it to take the composition and add to render queue, there it is. The settings are set to default, and now I can export it. Now the reasons why I use DNets HD as opposed to, let's say, QuickTime, or H.264 or QuickTime, is the file size is reasonable. If I bring that back up, you'll be able to see. File sizes are fairly reasonable, and you're also getting very high quality, and you're not getting image really loss that you would get out of H.264. The exports are fairly quick, and the main reason, though, is let's say if I export a 3-minute animation and it takes, let's say, 5 hours to export. Well, I can take... let's say they wanted me to change 20 seconds of it. Well, then I can do an export of just those 20 seconds, drop both of these clips into Premiere Pro, line them up, and then do an export to H.264, 25 megabits per second, upload that to YouTube or my personal website, and it'll be fairly quick to patch or create an updated video without having to export the entire timeline all over again. Another easy way to do this would be if you do PNG stills as an export, so each frame is an individual still frame. That's another quick way to do it, but I prefer using DNets HD. That allows me to just play the file back. I can take the file, tell it to open with QuickTime, and there we go. I can look at the animation. Of course, it's only 1 second long, but you get the idea. All right, hope that helps.